On the pre
How is it going, everybody? And welcome to another episode of Nerd Talk. Be advised, if you are watching this on YouTube, you can click any of our faces on the screen, go back to our channel, probably have a little recap of the whole podcast for you, so you don't have to watch the whole thing. And if you want to fast forward to a topic, just scroll to the bottom bar. You can click on any of those topics there, and it'll take you right to it. Also, the description will have all that for you. Today, we are going to be talking about stats and do they matter. I saw someone ask, Captain Obvious asked if we're talking about gun stats or personal stats, and we will be talking about personal stats, what we think about them, you know, all these stat sites getting a lot more advanced. And then we're going to be talking about sort of how gaming has changed, going off a specific article I read. And if you, for all you guys watching this live on the stream, to see that article, it'll be in the YouTube video. It'll be there for you guys. And then we'll go over little questions. And we are keeping this a little shorter, so let's get started. And welcome everybody in the stream. Welcome you guys. Time, Culprit, Puppy.
How's it going, guys?
Alright.
I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in like a week since the last podcast.
I know, it's been a slow week. Busy. Everyone's been
AFK,
busy.
man. Yeah.
I've been hitting your finals on my end, so.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm about to start up my next year of school, so it's busy. But let's move right into things, and you know, we go a little off topic. But all you guys in the stream, yeah, please chime in all you want. If you have little questions, hey, bring this up again, or I want to bring this up, just type it in there. We try to catch it all. Put a little at MassNERDerer or at Nerd Talk or at something like that. It'll help it stand out for us a little easier. All right. So this first topic we're talking about is sort of, you know, stats and how have they affected us? Has it changed how we play? Anything like that? But I mean, the stat sites, I mean, are becoming crazy now. I think Call of Duty had, you know, all those lists you could find online, and then we look at like BF3 stats and Battlelog too. But I think BF3 stats maybe does even a little bit more. But stats are becoming, I mean, huge. You can see everything. There's so much to do with it. I guess we want to talk on, what do we think of them? Do they make the games better or worse? You know, what's our opinion on them? Do we care? You know, anything about them. We'll start just broad topic, and you guys in the chat, please chime in on your opinions there too. Who wants to start us off?
I can. You know, I'm a stat head. I'm a kind of math guy. I like stats for myself. I don't look at. I have no idea what your guys' stats are. I don't ever look at anybody else's real stats. I might look quick, like I know, like for the PTFO tournament, I look quick at guys' stats, just kind of get an idea like what kit they like to use, that kind of thing. But I don't look at a guy's KD and be like, oh, he's terrible, he's great, he's that. I use him for me just kind of as a mile marker to see where I'm at. Like, since that new patch or whatever, I've reset my stats probably 10 times, 20 times. I do it like, once I start working on one thing, I'll reset them just to see if it pitches up. So I use it for an evaluator for myself.
Premium,
yeah.
You can reset it as much as you want?
Just like the little dashboards, you know, when you go on your profile, and there's like those, what is the score per minute, accuracy, KD, win-loss. You reset that, but at the bottom of the page, your career stats are still there, which is cool. I like that. So like I said, if I'm going to work on hipfire, and I'll reset my stats and play for 2 weeks and just see like where those new stats are at. So I use them to evaluate myself. I rarely ever use them to evaluate other people because I think they're terrible, especially now with double XP and Battlefield. It's just score per minute's toast.
Yeah.
Close quarters, you know, score per minute used to be the only reliable one I felt, and that's gone now. So
yeah.
You still keep up with your stats though, is that correct, Brian?
Yeah, I do. I check mine out. I don't obsess over them too much. I've learned to be not care.
Yeah.
I think it gets into the whole playing for stats. Like, if you're playing specifically to raise your KD, you can go about doing that, and it will change how you play based on other things, whether or not this is simply you want to rush, but you decide your KD would get better if you didn't.
Yeah.
It's very simple stuff like that, or accuracy. And so much of those numbers come down to be so incredibly situational that, like Cooper said, if you're trying to look at someone else's stats and figure out much more than what kit they run, you're only going to get a very loose idea of what they actually do and how good they actually are. So they try to give you lots and lots of numbers, but making sense of them is really hard. So like, if they gave you like, okay, how many suppression assists do you get with your gun? How many kill assists do you normally get with this gun? Instead of just, what is it, they give you accuracy, headshots, and kills per minute.
Yeah.
Those things are all, you could change those if you wanted, if you wanted to focus on one or another. Just talking about Battlefield 3 in specific with guns. So I mean, yes, they're interesting to look at, and maybe for you it can give you a bit of comparison, and other people can tell, all right, you use this gun a lot, you don't use this gun a lot, but they won't even tell you what map you use the guns on. Like, if someone ran around on No Shark and Alice Team Deathmatch with an unscoped sniper rifle, that would be kind of amusing. You might want to know about that. But it doesn't show up as being different than anything else, so you can't make sense of it, and if you're playing specifically for it, no one's going to know what that means, and you can specifically go about, trying to change them. I don't see the point to a lot of it. They're either going to give you more detail so you can actually say something about it, or they're just going to sit there and be like, oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Stats to me are like it's a twofold thing. Like, to me, it's kind of good because I think any game that's ever had stats, I've played longer. Like, that's a fact. I've played that game longer because it had stats. It had a way for me to kind of track my progression. Am I doing better? Am I doing better? But at the same time, I feel like stats as a whole really takes away from what the game is all about. I mean, you go onto any gaming forum, particularly like first-person shooter forums, it doesn't matter. Take your pick. If they have stat tracking, there's always a thread on there somewhere in that forum that says rate the stats of the person above you.
And the signatures are all, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, like, to me, that's just like an e-peen contest. I mean, why should I care about your stats? I mean, does that make you a better player? I don't think so. I've been up against people that have better stats than me and, thrown a beat down on them. And at the same time, I've gone up against people that have terrible stats, and it's been the other way around. They've beat the crud out of me. So stats, to me, to me, it's a little bit useless just because it's never a true thing. I mean, I know, Scott, you said a while ago your score per minute was on the low end because you spent a lot of time just goofing off in Battlefield. So, I mean, how then can anyone judge you for it? I mean, to say, oh, his score per minute's, only et cetera, well, how do you know that guy was actually really trying every time he played? What's to say he wasn't just in there trying to have a laugh or trying to troll somebody,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's the nature of lifetime stats, right?
Yeah. I mean...
And it's sample size, too, yeah.
Yeah.
So, there's a few things I want to follow up, but I'll just chime in on what you said there. And the accuracy of stats, I think my screen's lagging a little bit, I don't know why, but the accuracy of stats, I think, is very off. I think you look at someone's stats and you can be like, oh my god, these stats are so good, but you don't know, does this guy only play like he's like, oh my god, I'm not going to play a game where I can't get good stats. Like, I'll back out because the other team's good, or, so that's something that can change. But then also you can look at someone with low stats. Like you said, I'm not the best player in the world, but my stats would be much higher if I focused on only playing competitively. Not even like stat boosting, but if I only played, not even like focus, but just only play good. When we first opened the game, Time was there with me a few times. We did a few tests on specs, so like grenade launcher test. There was no private lobbies at all. So what we did is we got in a ranked lobby, and we spent 2 hours getting no points at all because we were testing grenade launchers. So shoot the damage here, step back 2 meters, shoot it, revive. So there was no points being had whatsoever. Maybe
or learning how to fly or something. That's what I did.
So
I spent 10 hours learning how to fly choppers. Yeah.
We did that multiple times for grenade launchers. We did it for sprint. So we probably had like 20 hours of tests there, and then we did defib fights and pistol-only fights after that. So
yeah,
we had and defib fights.
I like that.
There was like 2 total kills in our 30 minutes of defib fight. We all get in a tiny room with just, why won't you die?
That's because I wasn't there.
And no one would die. Like, Time put it in one of his videos. It was amazing. If you guys back through his channel.
Oh, it's so annoying.
You see
I didn't know about the whole
all
shoulder thing.
in a tiny room, like 8 people, and no one's dying. But anyway, my score per minute is trash there. 20, 30 hours of no points destroys it. For me, I would like stats if I could be like, okay, record stats now because I'm actually going to play. I don't know. But that's are stats accurate? My opinion is in most cases, no, and that's why they're going to be extremely misleading. Someone with high stats might, I only do this. You can look at like Bad Company 2 to refer to some other games. You'd have like Chopper Horse who would spawn camp. And we don't need to get in vehicles again, but you got a lot of points like that because you were in the action. On big maps when it was hard to get action, because you were right in their spot. I don't think they're accurate. Some of you guys' stuff, for me, I personally don't care about them because because they're not accurate, and if I cared about them, I would have to not do some things that I do. But a few follow-up questions I wanted to build for each of you is, because a few people, right when we brought up this topic, you saw, a couple people, win-loss, matters, KD, blah, 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 and then they went through posts, and it's like, so if you guys had to say, Culprit, you mentioned score per minute is one that you used to like a lot. If we had to pick the stats that do matter, are there any that maybe matter more, maybe are more accurate, maybe you just, not even based on what's more accurate for the general, but maybe something you care about more than the other stats? Any of you guys have anything like that?
I'm going to completely sidetrack you and say that heat maps is one of the few things that I find particularly interesting.
I wish.
Call of Duty makes some
I wish Battlefield 3 had it.
But yeah.
Could you imagine Bazaar? It'd be like just a red stripe.
Yeah. Right down the hallway.
I love that stuff.
Variants. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a stat head like that. I would look at those for hours.
Heat maps aren't like stats though. I mean, that's like
it is though. It's plotting. It's
it's not your personal stats. It's like map, and that's accurate. I mean, I'm sure some people play weird, so
but
it's different.
You want to know like what game mode, which side you were on, what weapon you were using. But if you can filter down to that, like tell me where this guy snipes on the Russian side of Rush for the first, for all 4 bases, that would be really interesting to know. If you had someone who specifically sniped, that might be really interesting to see.
It's only a couple of filters.
But you can't get that level of detail with you don't even offer anything close to that.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be hard to do. It's, you pick a map for, you look at the guy's profile, pick a map, boom, then you pick a class. And that's it. 2 or 3 filters, and narrows it right down. You'll see a heat map in construction, it's not going to be perfect, but it could definitely tell you a lot. But, and they have the stats. I'm a little, I can't believe they haven't done more with Battlelog in the, 8 or 9 months? It's all there. It's just a matter of what they want to do with it.
I've been thoroughly disappointed with the development on Battlelog. Like, they boasted about how DICE, has a team specifically dedicated to Battlelog, and
it's pretty amazing, actually, the back end.
I can't tell, man. Like, if they have all these guys that are working on Battlelog, the only time I've ever seen anything really being done is
the live scoreboard.
And the live scoreboard occasionally, something here or there will update. But I mean, things that are simple, like things that I mentioned to them, DICE themselves on their Twitter, and got the generic feedback. Go to the forums, mention it there, and then I get ignored in a plethora of other follow-up posts. But I mean, like, you still on Battlelog, there's no defib stat tracking, for your kills. Come on,
of course.
I asked for that
if
months
I would
ago.
get defib tracking, it's ago.
Well, I mean, BF3 stats not have it? Because they have a lot of other stats. Oh, really? So they don't track it at all.
BF3 stats tracks it kinda. Like, it doesn't track it on your main page, but they do have a leaderboard for it.
Oh, you want that to be front and center.
Right.
A leaderboard, yes, okay.
But, like, my thing is, like, if you can kill somebody with it, why not count it as a stat? Why... I don't understand. You can, and I don't understand why they wouldn't be there. Like, they even have a little spot for it. It says kills, and then it's just got the little line, and it'll never change.
Yeah, I do remember it had the kill spot. That's the thing. But okay, we went off.
Yes.
Hone back in to specific stats. Do any of them? No, you're good. Do any of them matter more to the public, you think, or to you? Do you care more about your own personal stats? Like, so you two-part. Do you think if you were to analyze someone else, there's a stat that might prove their worth better, because people are arguing win-loss, score per minute, KD. You can argue that. And then for yourself, is there maybe a stat you care about? Like, I don't care about my KD, but I care about my accuracy. Is there anything like that for you guys?
Well, I used to judge people on win-loss until I kind of got my YouTube channel going, and I started running with a lot more groups. And now I've seen it's completely skewed. Like, if I really wanted to, I could get a ridiculous win-loss. You only roll in squads. I mean, I see you guys post videos. I know the guys you guys are playing with. They're all, they stack squads. There's nothing wrong with that. I know you're all legit friends and everything, but, you got obvious, you get time, all the Sky, you're okay, No, I'm kidding.
When I get down,
I watch your videos and I see some of your squads. I'm like, man, my God, break it up a little, fellas. But I mean, I'm sure you guys have high win losses, and I used to be solo all the time, so when I would see even just a plus win loss, I was impressed. But now that I always have people to play with, I'm like, yeah, that's not a big deal. KD2, you can manipulate that pretty easily, and score per minute's gone now. So the only one I think is fairly reliable is accuracy. But depending on what kit you run, you could read a recon, you could have high accuracy. But I don't know. There's not a lot. I mean, for me, I know mine. It's funny because my accuracy is pretty constant between consoles and PC.
Really?
It's terrible. It's not good. But yeah, it's pretty much the same, which is really bizarre.
Just to mention, to get on there, my accuracy is around 20% or higher on almost every single game.
16.
It's
good.
Typically around and it's high. But I actually talked about this in one of my videos. I always say I don't have good aim. Like I feel like I don't have good aim, and I think my issue is I don't take enough shots. So I think just to show you it's skewed, I have
more bullets.
really high accuracy. But I think sometimes I hesitate to take the shot until I'm on target, and if I sort of fired and then got on target, I might have got that kill. Not always that I lose a gunfight head to head, but that they get away from me, I don't get the kill.
Yeah, you get the assist, right?
And so that's just something I think it's skewed, and so I say I have bad accuracy because I feel like, oh man, it takes me, but I don't like hold down the trigger. I'm really burst firing, so it's like I miss a bullet or two, and then I try to get on target, and I think so my accuracy stats high. But I think it's bad, so it's like.
But see, I think that's probably the better way to play. Like your way is the better way. I think. I wish I was more like that. I'm a spray and pray guy.
I feel like I'd get more kills if I pulled the trigger more. So I don't know, but that's that's
probably in the middle. In between is probably the way you want to be.
Yeah. I don't see. Okay. Before double XP, I used to be big on what's my score per minute. What's my score per minute? Is it going up? Because if it's going up, obviously I'm doing better. Then double XP happened, and there's no point. There's no point. I reset my stats like I was gonna say my video ruined it too. I reset my stats like a week before double XP even started, just to kind of see what is my score per minute legit now before everything went up, and then double XP happened. Like my legit score per minute for a while there was like hovering around 800 or 900, and I was like, all right, that's cool. And then double XP happened, and now it's like sitting at like 1600, and I'm like, no, that's a lie. I mean, yeah, sure, I'm awesome, but no, no, it's
you
just
get 1,000 per defib, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, but I mean, so that used to be one of the big things that I used to like. What's your score per minute? What's your score per minute? And now not so much. Win-loss has never been a big thing for me, just because I find there are a lot of times where I will fly solo and I lost because I was playing with a bunch of randoms who were all sitting in the back sniping when we were on offense rush. Yeah. So and I'm like, I can do good, I can carry, but I can't carry a whole team. Not against 12 people. No.
You can't sometimes. The other team's not good.
Well,
but if you're playing a decent team,
not good.
one person in Battlefield, which is a good thing. It takes a team to win, but yeah,
you can lead them, but you cannot carry them. Yeah.
So when you guys look, I mean, for you personally, we talked sort of generally. I mean, Time, how about you? Since you can chime in, do you have a personal stat you care about, or?
The only one, you guys can reset your stats with premiums. Now, I don't have premiums, so that's not an option. So you get some more options, but the only one that is going to move at any appreciable pace after you've played a couple hundred hours is going to be the skill one. Granted, you have to give it like a plus or minus at least 100 points. But if you see someone who's like skill 100 something, you're probably not so great. If you see someone who's like at 600, yeah, he probably knows what he's doing, at least in the games he's been playing. It's another one you can boost it ridiculously, but at least I know that if I've been playing with a gun that I'm not familiar with, I'll go look at my skill, and that will give me a better idea of the aggregate for my last 10, 20 games than just about anything else, because score per minute, KD, win-loss, they took too long to change, so skill is the only thing that moves fast enough to give me, at least in any short time frame, an indication of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing
I
with
hate the skill
Halo skill. The only stat I've ever been really proud of was my World at War mercenary team deathmatch, so no teams, win-loss ratio was like a 1.8, and I was really, really proud of that.
I guess Call of Duty gives you the options per game mode.
Yeah, but again, it's aggregate, so you have no idea, except unless you, like, if you just got good at the game, like you started out as a noob, the stats aren't going to be useful to you, because they're biased by that early stuff.
Yeah,
well, that's what killed me. Like, I started on PC. I hadn't played PC in years. Plus, I'm left-handed, but I decided to teach myself to use the mouse in my right hand. So, I mean, that was kind of good because it took all the pressure off me. Like, I knew my stats were going to be terrible for a month or two. So now, like he said, my KD is creeping. I'm probably pulling a 1.6, 1.7, right now, but I'm still at like 1.15. You know, like, I know the deal, but if other people look at me quick, they're like, why has he got a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
You know, and that's why, I mean, I like some of the plugins, they give you the nice graphs. I mean, you look. That's probably, if you're asking, like, what do I look at? It's those graphs. What is it, Battlelog Plus or whatever it is, or more, but I don't remember what they're called. I should link
3 Stats has a bunch of it.
And then, it's basically what he does is it incorporates that into Battlelog. And I look at the graph. I just want to see it rising. That's all I want to see. I don't care about how much time. I have a feeling you understand skill better than I do, because I hate that statistic. Because you know why? Because the matchmaking is terrible. You know, like the balancing and everything, because you have to play other players, right? Is based on the skill level of the other people. But we all know that the matchmaking and balancing is terrible. So it's just like it feeds itself. It's just too chaotic, and I can never make sense of it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it's a good stat, because you can't focus on it. You just got to play and see what happens with the stat. I wish they would just tell us what it is. You know, like
they have told us. What it is.
They've put up some
They've hinted at it. They haven't. You know.
They've put it clear for us. Yeah. But I mean, like, all right, so it's based on, like, everyone's given a generic skill score at the beginning, and then as you kill people, you get, like, say you're at 100 and somebody else is at 100. You kill the person that's got skill 100, you get, like, 10 points.
Right.
And then say you kill somebody that's, like, skill 300, then you'll get, like, 20 points.
That's how I understand
And then say someone that's, like, skill 400 kills you, you get, like, -2. And someone that's skill 50 kills you, and then you get minus, like, 100.
So then where's the line? Where's the zero line? It's like, do we know? I mean...
There is no zero line. I've actually seen people with negative.
No, it does go negative. I thought, like, maybe 300 was the threshold, and then...
No, it very much goes negative. Although,
I haven't paid attention to it much lately.
I kind of see where you're coming from, Zach, or Time, when you're saying that it's one of the stats that you're kind of focused on. But to me, it's one of those stats that you still... It's so hard to actually tell, because unless people are using the quick match, skill has nothing to do with it. You can have a 50 skill in the same game as someone with like a 900 skill, because they didn't use the quick match. They used a server browser, which I don't know about you guys, but ever since Rent-A-Server went live, I have never used quick match again.
Yeah,
never.
No way I want to get put in those crappy old servers.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you have to give skill a very wide approximation.
Yeah.
You're looking for movement on skill, not necessarily the number. I think is what you're saying, right? Yeah.
Because I can play 10 games and my skill will change a little bit, but I can't see anything change in my score per minute or KD.
Yeah.
So.
But see, that's why when I get that one tick of the KD, I'm stoked. I'm like, yes. You know.
See, I look a little bit more on Call of Duty. Call of Duty, I care a little bit more. I mean, I don't care anymore. I used to, actually. And funny story, real quick. In Black Ops, when me and my friends, a group of my friends, all from online, met up. We got at the same time. We started playing a lot together, and playing with a team in every game changes everything. It could affect your stats sometimes negatively if you have someone really good who maybe gets more kills than you and you don't get as many.
Yeah, chasing kills.
But it's gonna, especially win-loss. So we looked at win-loss and we're like, we want the highest win-loss we can get. And we started going on win streaks, and then we're like, we want our win streak, and we're up at like, I don't know, 150. And honestly, it started getting stressful because we'd be like, crap, there's only 2 of us on. We probably shouldn't play online.
Can't play. Yeah.
So we'd stop. No, let's just go play, and then people would come on and be like, we're gonna wait until we get at least 4 people. Because out of the 6 there on a Call of Duty team, and then it just. So eventually, we said, okay, we got 2 of us on. We're just gonna go play. Whatever happens, happens. We won like 2 or 3, and we lost, and then we just said, screw it, and we actually like butchered our stats in some ways because it was like it became stressful, and that actually happened in Modern Warfare 2, and I actually said, okay, I'm going to use only knife for like 10 games. And so then I have like an excuse to myself. Like, if my stats are bad, I'll stop looking at it because I know I purposely like sabotage them, And
that's what I'm saying. When we learn about hand,
Like, the other thing too, though, like with stats, though, and you're talking about purposely sabotaging them, is that's again goes back to one of those things. How much do you really care?
Yeah.
I mean, is it more fun for you to run around with a knife?
Well, see, at that point, but this is back in like Modern Warfare 2 days, really, when I got stressed, and that's when I sabotaged, is I cared about stats. I looked at it. I wanted to be like, man, my KD is only 1.8. I want that 2.0, and then I'd get stressed when I had a game where I was 1.2. I'd be like, crap, I'm taking it down. And it honestly, like, this is the early Modern Warfare 2 days, and it stressed me out, and I actually quit playing Modern Warfare 2 for a while, probably for other reasons than stats, because I had some issues with that game. But
I think you weren't alone with your issues.
but
I don't know.
that's besides the point. I came back to it, and it was a fun game, regardless of my issues or everyone else's issues, whatever people want to say. It was a fun game. It just depends who you play with. All games are like that. But we came back and we sabotaged our stats, and pretty much after that, I stopped caring. I cared about my win-loss in Black Ops until we lost, and we said, okay, we don't care anymore. I have no earthly idea what my stats are on Battlefield 3. I mean, so on this, like, the question I asked you guys is any one specific map. I have no clue. I'm guessing my KD is between 1 and 2. I don't know, though. Like, I don't look at it.
I'll look you up right now.
If you look at someone else's stats, it'll tell you their time played with kits, how many kills they have with guns. It'll give you an idea what they enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And maybe a very loose idea of how good they are. Very.
The one thing I look at I like tracking as far as like guns, like when do I get my next rank up. I do that because sometimes when I'm streaming I do like, okay, ranking up guns, and I just go through, they have like a next unlock, whatever your next unlock is, and I'm gonna use that gun until I get the next unlock, then I'll switch to the next gun. So I like that kind of stuff. I like knowing what's happening in the game, what's gonna happen to weapons, you know, and that goes back to stuff like heat maps. That kind of stuff I like. Personal stats,
I love you. Yeah.
based on how I play and sort of, I guess, how I get obsessed over it. If I looked at it, I don't look at them ever. I mean, no clue what my win-loss is. I'm assuming, I don't know, I couldn't, between 1 and 4. I know it's over 1. I assume it's over 1.
You guys have to be high on win-loss.
You know, I play by
You're on the
myself
spot.
a lot too.
Mine's,
So.
mine's
I only
actually
see
not
your
that
videos.
high.
No,
No.
I'm just assuming.
No, mine's actually not that high. I think mine's like 1 point.
I did a lot of
5 or
TDM,
something.
so
Yeah.
and by myself,
I
and
do
that's
too.
like hit or
Yeah,
miss.
the same thing.
So
Yeah, it's roll of the dice. Yeah, it's tough, and that's why you just learn. You're just like, I mean, I used to obsess. Black Ops, I obsessed because I didn't know any better. In the beginning of this game on Xbox, when I was playing it before PC, I kind of was really all about it. But you just learn. You're like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm playing this game for months into the future. You know, a bad match isn't gonna hurt it. But like you said, when you get to like that 1.19 and you want that 1.2, yeah, it adds something to it. But I say I kind of like that at this point because I'm looking for new kind of challenges and new juice to the game, you know. But I'm the type of guy that I always have to be improving. If some reason I hit a wall and I just played a month and never got any better,
yeah,
I'd probably move away from the game. Like I just get frustrated. If I have that upswing and I feel like I'm improving and learning and doing that, then I'm okay. I don't care what my stats are as long as they're moving up.
yeah.
Again, I think the issue comes when you start playing for stats. And yeah, I ran into the same thing in Modern Warfare 2. We got like a couple month-long win streak, and the very last game we played, we intentionally lost it before going to Black Ops because it's like, this can never happen again. We cannot allow this ourselves to build up this kind of win streak because it is completely unrealistic.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can't play for stats because you end up with these expectations that you're somehow represented by this number and you're not just playing to have fun.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely, absolutely.
That I think is my big point there is, I mean, like, stats are twofold because they can show you progression, they can help you stay in a game and keep playing a game just so you can see the progression, but at the same time, you stress about it and you stop having fun. I mean, why do we play games?
Yeah.
I don't play them just to watch a number go up and, you know, boost my ego a little bit. I just do it to have fun. I mean...
Puppy doesn't need any help with his ego.
Yeah, I know, right?
No, that's why we do YouTube, isn't it?
Got that big head.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't be a defib master and care about your stats, really.
I was actually going to say, I actually plan on watching my stats plummet here because I'm right around the corner. Some people may know I'm right around the corner from Colonel 99, and I vow to go from Colonel 99 to Colonel 100 with nothing but the defib.
No way.
Nothing but the defib.
Oh, God.
I'm going to do it.
That's like do a series.
No longer am I playing with you. You're not on my
gonna-
squad.
No, I'm going to be offline, and I'm not going to be playing with friends because I can't have you spawn on me. I don't want the points. So it's just going to be defibs.
No way. No way.
You're gonna quit. You're gonna
do
quit
it.
the game.
That would no. All right. So
All right, listen. I want to see a montage of that. Though.
Yeah.
Oh,
When
wait,
you're
it'll
all
happen. It'll happen.
All right, all right.
closing topics for me. I don't think stats are accurate. So I don't think they make. I was gonna bring up that they make gaming good or bad, but we've already dwelled on this for like 30 minutes. For
What's
me,
the old saying?
I don't care because I don't think they're accurate. But any closing topics or any closing remarks from you guys?
I'm a stat head, but I mean, I also like I guess just said, what's the old saying? There's lies, damn lies, and then there's statistics. I mean, stats will tell you what you want them to tell you. You just, I mean, unfortunately, a lot of times we're dealing with, I use the word kids or children, you know, like they just see kitty, they don't really quantify it, you know.
Yeah.
So I think all of us here kind of know that there's more meta to the number, and you know, I wish like time and we've touched on. I wish it went deeper because I would dig and I would come up with ways, filters, and things like that to, you know, heat maps would be, oh my god, on these maps would be awesome. And then I won't get back on that, but I want more stats. But that's for me. Like, I don't sit there and compare myself to other people. Yeah. So I'm weird like that, I guess.
You know, any closing remarks?
Yeah, nothing.
All right, let's move on to gaming and what it used to be, or is it what it used to be? There was an article from IGN I read a little while ago. I don't know, a while ago. But like I said, if you watch the YouTube video, I'll have that. Man, mine's getting real laggy. I don't know why. If you watch the YouTube video, I'll have the link in the description on the YouTube video. That'll go up tomorrow with this video. And it's sort of talking about, it was actually titled, like, Why Do We Hate EA or something. So maybe you guys read it. Look, someone's got it. Why do we hate EA? Time itself, put it up. Good, it's in the chat.
Time, good. Look at that.
But the thing that they brought up was, I should remember what they brought up. I had it right now. All right.
Show notes.
Fail.
I can't pull up my notes because it'll cover up.
You didn't write them.
Shucks. Okay. Think hard. I have the worst memory in the world. I'm gonna have to pull it up real quick and then. Oh, no.
I didn't read it, so I shouldn't laugh. I'm gonna click it right now.
So one of the things they brought up was that people got invested in the games, in the characters, in the stories, and they wanted more of it. And if, you know, the company, only one company can offer that. You can't go shop somewhere else if you want Mass Effect or Battlefield. You're buying that series.
I forgot.
And so if you go somewhere else, you're going to have to start somewhere new. And so you get fairly invested in these stories, and even sometimes in the game mechanics. I know I can pick up any Call of Duty game, and I have a pretty good idea what's going on, so that buying the next one in the series, hey, sure. But if I don't like these kind of small, but for a serious player, fairly significant changes, well, then I feel let down. That was...
So, yeah, what I was going to sort of... That, yes, and build off of that, when I was reading it, I know. I got really thrown off base. Sorry, I'm trying to catch back up. I just like blanked. I'm like, holy crap. So, what I was thinking of with that is like, multiplayer's change things. You know, before I think you bought a game because it was good, but now you look at games like Call of Duty, like FIFA. I know Nino Nick's in the chat and he loves FIFA. Like these games that are sort of annual games, it's like Time said, you get invested in these, but at the same time, it's like with multiplayer, the game has to be popular for it to work, right? I mean, I can't buy a multiplayer game if there's no one playing online. It doesn't work, and that you see that happen to games. Games release, and you might think, I really, really enjoy this game. My friends don't have it. The online community is really slow. It's hard to find matches, you know. So there's these issues. I mean, go back to old games. Game cycles, multiplayer games die quicker because people don't, you know, we move on to a new multiplayer. So it's like this multiplayer changes things. People hating on EA. Let's not get into an EA bashing. I know it's the title of the article, but that's not what we're talking about. It's just sort of how has gaming changed, and I was sort of thinking between how it used to be when multiplayer was, hey buddy, come over to my house and we'll play on the same TV, and then we got the local LAN, you know, and then to this online where it's changed to sort of, you don't actually, I feel like to some extent, you don't get to pick the game you play. And that happens to me because I look at a game and I'm like, man, I would like this multiplayer game, but I game to play with friends. So that's why I play a lot of multiplayer and I do all these games. So if I'm like, none of my friends are picking up this game, I'm less likely to get it. And before, you know, just 2 years ago, I didn't have an online community. My friends I gamed with were my friends at here, you know. Right. I met people online and realized, okay, you know, you can get a game and you can find people to play it with you. But it's changed, like, you develop a relationship with friends. You get these multiplayer games that, Call of Duty, I don't want to bash it all. We're not going to get into that at all. But let's just say, I actually like the game. I'll just put it out there. But some people hate it. But it's the most popular multiplayer it is now, you know. People you know are going to get it. So it's sort of like some people I think are like, I don't really like Call of Duty, but it's all my friends play, so I have to get it. And I think this has sort of changed how gaming used to be. Like Time said, what if you have like Mass Effect? Mass Effect is my favorite game of all time. I enjoy it. I love it. I haven't played Mass Effect 3 yet, but it's like some people complain. It's like gaming's changed because you get invested in games now, you know, and that's sort of where I was going with this topic. I'm sorry I dragged that out a little bit, but I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts, and people in the viewers chat, please chime in as well.
I'm kind of excited to see. You know, I have two little boys. I'm excited to see because I don't know. Like, has gaming really changed that much, or have we changed? Like, I mean, I'm a shitload older. Mario was awesome. I was 7. You know, like, so I'm kind of interested to see if the loop kind of spins around for my 3 or 4-year-old now. When he's, you know, obviously a little older, I'm not gonna let him play Battlefield until he's at least 6 or 7. And does he go through? I'm watching your eyes. Is he going to go through the same progression that I did? You know, like, obviously, maybe Pokemon, Scott. I don't know. You know, but obviously it's changed, and I think our expectations have changed, probably unrealistically, to be quite honest, and I'm one of the biggest culprits of that. But I don't know. I think it's just people kind of getting butthurt, and, like, the whole hate on COD, I don't get it. Like, I think what you want is Battlefield and COD. You want competition. Like, I'm not a COD guy. I'm a Battlefield guy now, but I like Black Ops. The best scenario for us is both to be kick-ass games, and, or a third or a fourth. So these people like hating and back it. No, that's just silly. It's a waste of time. You want other games coming out. Like, I don't know. I mean, I think gaming genre, it's big money now. We all know that, and I think that's the problem. That's what people hate. Money is what it comes down to. So they're gonna bitch and moan no matter what. Yeah. And that's why they hate EA, which, you know. But,
I mean, yeah, you can't. Yeah. You can say EA suck, but they put out so many games that go so huge. So
EA's a business. They're not a game company. They're a business. You know,
they're a good business.
Not getting into that. Yeah.
I don't stop.
Be a topic going into the business. But so, how has it changed? You know, how do you feel? There's multiplayer, and that's sort of what I was looking to talk about. And we can talk about how gaming, but how has multiplayer affected things? I mean, I like it a lot more. I love playing with friends online, but it's changed how things work, and I think it's changed my game selection. Isn't always I see a game and I'm like, man, I would really enjoy that, but I don't get it because of multiplayer. Sometimes my friends aren't getting it, I can't get it, you know. Or I think gaming it's affected what I play. It's affected how many games I buy. I think I buy more because a new multiplayer comes out. If I see a lot of people I'm friends with on my friends list playing, I'm like, God, I want to play with them. I want to hang out with my friends. That's what I want to do.
I feel like you're missing out. Like, yeah. For me, I'm sorry to go again, but like I just bought DayZ, and the whole reason is I'm on the hype bubble. You know, like I'm intrigued by it, but I don't really have the time to play it. Yeah. But I see the tweets, the videos, my Skype chats. Yeah. Everybody's playing it, so I'm like, you know, a Minecraft that came a couple months later. So this I'm like, I'm not missing this one. It has nothing to do with YouTube, but it's just like you said, your friends are playing it, and you're like, hey, you know, like I want to check this out. So
I think
I'm influenced for sure by multiplayer.
Yeah, I think, well, obviously we're all a little influenced by multiplayer. I mean, how many friends did you invite over back in the days of, you know, well, maybe some of the audience may not be so old, but, you know, back in the day of, like, Nintendo, you know, rocking Dirt Bike, or, what is it?
Excite Bike.
Excite Bike or something like that. I mean, hell yeah, I'd play the hell out of that game.
Parties. Get over there for the N64, man.
Yeah, but I mean, like, before that, when you had just, like, your single-player games like Mario, I mean, nobody's going to sit around and watch you play that.
Well, I did that back in the day. Not anymore.
Super Mario parties as well.
Oh, dude, Metroid parties? Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying that, like, as they get more people involved, it's like a more of like a community feeling and more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, not it's yes, you can teabag. Halo, I mean, introduce us to teabag. Revolutionize the world. But you know, it's something that's constantly evolved, and in my opinion, you know, it has gotten a little out of hand just because of the a lot of the I don't want to crybabies. Yeah, a lot of the, well, not just the crybabies, but there's a lot of egotistical people out there that get this video game thing that goes straight to their head. Mm-hmm. You know, where they're like, I'm the best, and you know, you're like, back in the day, you used to talk a little friendly trash, like, yeah, I'm gonna beat you down, and then after, you know, you and your buddies play GoldenEye or whatever, and say you do beat them, you know, then you go out and, all right, that was cool, that was fun, see you next week, and, you know, whatever. It was no big thing, but now you got guys who will straight up just try and rip you a new one on chat. You know,
well, that's because your buddy can reach over and punch you in the face. You know, he's going to say you right here.
I don't know if it's even that though. Like I
microphone
think it's just,
commandos, you know.
yeah, it's. I just think that whole internet anonymity has changed the game a little bit, and in my opinion, a little bit for the worse, just because you do run into those bad apples.
Definitely for the worst. But then again, I wouldn't have met. I'd be gaming alone right now.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Well, and you know, like I don't know. It's you run into the bad apples, but at the same time, like as multiplayer progresses more and more and more, you know, and in my opinion, you know, I see FPS is slowly getting up to that point where they're practically MMOs in and of themselves, just because of the amount of people that you can slap into one server. I mean, at the same time, that's an awesome feeling. You know, back in the day, it was you versus a bunch of retarded bots. You know, that would literally like stare at you for 2 seconds. And, all right, I'll shoot you now. You know, and now we're talking about
back in the day, that's Skyrim. You know, like I mean, no offense, but
yeah, Skyrim's like that. But yeah, but I mean, like, all right, have you guys seen anything about PlanetSiders 2?
A little bit.
I mean, oh my God, they're talking about. I can't remember the exact numbers.
200.
Yeah, it's like I want to say it's like either 200 versus 200 or 500 versus 500 or something just retarded like that. I mean, can you imagine playing that many legit? Well, they had it back. You know, they had the first one, which was more or less the same thing. But I mean. That like multiplayer, I did not. No,
I didn't either. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. I tried to play some other.
That's what I'm saying about competition. Like I hope it's awesome. It's the best thing that can happen. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's multiplayer's coming along, and like some things that are happening are really good. Some things that are happening, I think, are really beneficial. But at the same time, there's the people. That are involved in multiplayer, and a lot of times those people.
You can't patch people.
Yeah, you can't patch a person. You can't nerf a person. You can't.
Well, you probably could. But Dice has tried. I think.
Yeah, Dice has tried. But you know, I don't know.
Now, what do you guys think about the whole free to play thing? I mean, I know it's more PC, but I think that's the kind of the next thing that we're going to really see.
That is the next.
Do you think that's going to be? I mean, I'm sorry, Scott, I'm taking over for you.
No.
Do you guys think that's good or bad? Because you know, I mean, like I think probably you said last. I was talking about Blacklight because I haven't played it in a while. I played it like in the beginning, and now you're telling me that they have too much stuff.
So let me chime in on this because I want to bring a comment up, and it sort of fits right in this. So we had your local Finn. One of my regular guys here on the stream. He also writes for Sergeant Merrill's website. Just I threw that out there, a little shout out for him. But he brought up something about the prices. So, you know, like Battlefield 3 Premium costing whatever it costs. He put $110, and I don't know.
That's got to be with the game.
Oh, yeah, okay, maybe. I was like,
total investment.
But you look at these multiplayer and how they can reel you in prices. You know, they're sort of like I feel like in a way they sort of own you with this topic in a way like, okay, if I bought Mass Effect 1 and 2 and I really loved it, you could charge me $100 for Mass Effect 3 and I want that game, you know? So it's sort of like, crap. You bring in the Battlefield 3, you look at DLC, you know? Ah, man, I have all my friends, they bought DLC. I didn't want to buy the DLC. I just want to play the base game, but now I don't get to play with my friend. And that's probably one of the reasons I don't play Battlefield. I mean, it's been like a month, minus Battlefield game night, since I played. Because I didn't want to spend more money. But it's like
either to their credit or their disadvantage. You can play close. You can have close quarters or not, and there's not a whole lot of separation, at least on the console, because you won't find a server that's playing both.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's.
And when you do, it's.
I'm not saying you can't. What if all my friends are playing close quarters? They're playing DLC. Let's not go Battlefield 3, but you know.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Like Black Ops.
You have to sort of like, man, if I want to play with them, I have to buy that DLC. So it's like. You know, you're spending money. We go to those free-to-play games. Some do it what I consider right, and we don't need to get in what is right because this could be its own topic. But
they haven't found it yet.
I always look at when I look at who's doing it right. I mean, I look at Valve. Okay, Steam.
Team Fortress.
I think does things right. Team Fortress 2, I think, is a good example. Would that game be profitable enough to make now? You know, I don't know because they made all their money when it was cost money.
Yeah,
they can do it now. They have to pay for support.
Yeah,
that's sort of Valve's thing, but. If you have to balance two things, free-to-play games, a lot of them aren't as good. Okay, there might be some, we don't need to go into that, but this comes to price. A lot of free-to-play games, it's awesome, you get to play for free, but then you get to the point, well, man, I can't continue farther. Just like in a multiplayer game, you can't continue farther without the DLC. You can't continue farther without paying. So it's like
is it free-to-play or pay to win?
I'm sure to some extent
pay
that's
to win,
the
that's
idea,
a good,
right?
that's a great. So
I mean, they don't want you to play to win because then you'd give up before you got to the point where you're willing to pay. But if you have to pay to start to try it, especially with the multiplayer games where you have to have some basis of skill to start enjoying the game, really, you're like, hey, I want to try that out, see if I enjoy it, see if I can be good at it. Because you have to invest some serious time into a multiplayer game. At least normally, I enjoy being good at multiplayer games, so picking up a new one is kind of a commitment.
Yeah.
So, and if I get to the point where I'm like, yes, I want to play more, spending money, a couple bucks isn't an issue. There are all sorts of different ways to do it. But
I still like I see like a lot of companies making that move towards free to play. Now I do know, and I have heard, through Grapevine and other news sources. I am well connected with media, but I have heard through news sources that EA is fighting free to play hardcore. They do have a few free to plays out there right now. You got the Battlefield Heroes, Battlefield Play for Free or whatever, and there's a few other ones that are outside of the Battlefield genre. And I mean, they have free to plays, but they are fighting it so hard because if you do not have the players for it, if you don't have the players for it, you'll never profit off of it. I mean, it's like one of those high risk, high rewards. Like if you look at games that have done it really well, they made a ton of money doing it. But if the game didn't, if just the people weren't interested in the game, they fold. They fold.
I'd be curious. Do you think Blacklight's profitable or whatever?
Blacklight is definitely profitable.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they came out with the second one, so I haven't even.
I'm talking about Retribution is what I'm talking about. But yeah, I haven't followed it. But see, I'm a bit of a contrarian. Like I wish I would pay more. Like I wish Battlefield had not COD Elite, but I wish they had a subscription where they would bring out fresh content every month. And I'm talking like real content, not real like content, not stupid crap. Like, give me 2 maps, give me 5 guns. You can put me on the hook for a lot. I'm not gonna lie, like, cause I'm home all the time. Like, this is my outlet. So I'll pay money for it. If it's got value, I'll pay for it. Like but people get so upset by that. They're like, what? Why are the whole thing about Battlefield? Why are map packs costing money? Then they're throwing that quote that they did back in Bad Company 2 that they'll never make you pay for a map pack, and then they're calling this an expansion pack, whatever. But I don't understand why people get like, if they're gonna, I mean, and now again, I'm talking about real content, not shiny camos or anything like that. But if they're gonna provide real content, I have no problem paying for it, and that's kind of goes to the free-to-play kind of model. But
we're going. I want to try to hone this in and wrap it up because I think we could go on further, but I think this could probably be another topic, especially because I don't want to talk about it at all. But there's a new console coming out that's going huge on Kickstarter right now, OUYA or something. Not going to touch on it at all. I think Captain Obvious actually made a video about it. So I've read over it, actually sent him a message. I haven't got a reply back yet, but I don't know if they do reply to messages. Who knows? But I mean, so there's all this interest in it. It's definitely interesting. But I mean, I want to hone us back in, and
somebody's got it.
Yeah, we could go on. I think so. Free to play is an interesting thing. I think we could talk about it. But for a few people are mentioning in the chat, like someone's like, "Oh, Team Fortress 2, you don't have to pay to win." You brought up pay to win, and with free to play, you guys need to remember: is it profitable? I think someone in the chat, and you might have said it, Blacklight is profitable, right? But you got about like Team Fortress 2. If we just want to finish up with that to end this topic, you guys can chime on too. Wasn't free to play at the beginning, okay?
No,
but
it was profitable before it
was a big game. A lot of people played it, but they paid for it after years, years of the game being out and costing money. They made it free to play. And now, if you pay, you don't need to pay for anything. You can get little nice options. They can help you. You can do a little better. You have a few little gadgets, but that's not required at all. It's not necessary. But you got to think they made a lot of money off that game. The way they're doing it now, where you pretty much the amount of people who buy stuff is very slim, and the amount they pay is very small. They still make dollars, but is that net profit? I don't know, because they do a lot of upkeep. I mean, updates often.
I think the way that Team Fortress did it is the way to go now. I mean, when you come out with a game, make people buy it, and then after a few years, just give it away for free and have things inside the game that you can pay for or whatever. Because then, I mean, like eventually everyone buys the game. Then what?
Imagine if Battlefield.
You have to keep the multiplayer community there,
right?
And if you make it hard for people to join, you're not helping yourself.
Let's say for like next November to compete against Black Ops 2, DICE just comes and goes, Battlefield 3 free to play.
Yeah.
Right.
Could you imagine people go ape shit?
I don't even know what happened. For me, I don't know that Battlefield 3 would blow up. I don't know. And I think
it would.
It's a crazy cycle.
I think it would. Well, I think a lot of people Yeah, I don't know. That's a good
It
question.
sold a lot of copies. You know, it's already. If you gave all the free DLC, I don't even know how much it would get me. I'd go back and try it, but
I'll still be.
I think the online, the people who paid would come back for a little bit.
That's what I'm
but
saying.
A lot of them
Yeah,
bought it. I don't know. The game for me feels. I don't know. It's a tricky thing, and I think free to play is a very interesting thing. Whoever's taking notes, I think you should jot it down. I think that'd be an interesting conversation, but. With only 2 topics, we took almost our whole hour already.
Yeah.
So I was hoping to have it shorter, but
I don't know. I went off a completely different direction from this EA article, and the 2 kind of things that I had noted were that you're seeing iterative gameplay, but it doesn't feel like they're learning from their mistakes.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I think drives most of the long-term gamers.
But the problem is, from
absolutely
a business point,
nuts.
is it a mistake?
Maybe,
That's
maybe
the
not. But I
problem.
mean, just basic features. Like, we went from Halo to Call of Duty, and it took them. Halo 3 had theater mode. Waited till Black Ops before we got it in COD. I mean, these are enormous titles. Why can't we have that kind of thing? You know, it feels like a step back.
you know that's the
Yeah,
thing.
I mean,
Start the movement.
It's talking on that. It's like look at Call of Duty. Okay, I have to go back to it because it is the #1 multiplayer game there is, and there's no one who can argue it. Not #1 and like the best, but the #1 selling.
Sure.
They sometimes don't change much. Sometimes they add a little bit, whatever. But look at games like that. Look at things like NCAA. Very little
Madden.
features change, and you can be like, yeah, Madden in these games
New rosters.
where it's like they don't change. So do they learn from their mistakes? And you can say these are mistakes, but like you brought up, well, they're like, well, we're still making a lot of money, and we didn't have to do very much work. So
they're laughing at
you
the
might
bank.
think it's a
Right.
mistake, but our wallets don't. And now gaming, we said, is very profitable, but a lot of gaming companies, I mean, games
Yeah.
take a lot of work. Some of these games I think that they like just poured over, like some NCAAs, some of these Maddens, these whatever, NFL, basketball,
Okay,
some of them
Madden.
from a
Okay.
year don't change very much at all. But like games like a Skyrim, I mean there's, you know, lots of money going into that game.
Years.
So it's like, not all companies are, like a lot of gaming companies have what I consider amazing games that did really well, and they go, you know, they're negative, they're in the red, and they have to, like, so it's a crazy thing, but I think, yeah, it's a good point time bringing it up, is like, are they learning? And I think some of these companies get comfortable and like, well, we're making money. Call of Duty says we don't have to change because we've got our base. For at least a few years, they could put out a few Call of Duties and do nothing new, and they'd still be like #1 selling. Eventually, I think people are, wait a
think it's
minute,
coming.
what are you doing?
You can talk about things like
I don't even
voice over
think so,
IP or matchmaking, and it feels like every time you're reinventing the wheel.
I think
It's like,
Black Ops 2 has to be good.
I don't think so. I mean, all right, they could put out the same garbage every single
Nah, I
time,
don't think so.
and people will still buy it. And my proof of that is because there's so much hype over it. There's so many people that are so invested into that series that they just don't care. They will buy the game anyway. I
Well,
bought
there has
Modern
to be an
Warfare 3.
alternative, yes.
And I mean, like, the other proof that I guess I could provide to everybody would be Madden. That's been the same game. It's not changed a whole lot.
See,
It's
I love
still-
NCAA. A lot of times
It's
it's
still
very
being
similar.
made.
But sometimes
Yeah.
they make like a feature where I'm like, dang. It's one feature,
Yeah,
I want that.
Okay, one feature. You're paying $60 for a
I don't
new
buy 'em.
game
I never buy
for
'em, but
one
yeah.
feature.
Well, that's what I played Madden and
Other people
NCAA
do.
for 10 years. I bought both, and then I just said enough.
I know.
Uh,
Like,
I'm
they
not
buying 'em as
add
well.
one or two features. I'm thinking instead of
Hold it.
add one or two features,
Yeah.
you know, DLC me.
You pump up the crowd for home field advantage. So
Yeah,
it had
I
nothing to do with
agree
the game.
with
You're
what-
like, yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's all in the buyer's hand. That's something I found in the article, something that I wrote this in my notes. I remember now it's coming back, but I wrote like, you know, you used to buy a game like if it's good, and
Yeah, you
now
just
it's sort
buy
of
it
like
'cause
sometimes you buy a game because of what they've done in the past. You know, it's like, oh man, this game was good, I'm gonna get it again. It's a crazy system, and I think maybe gaming what it used to be. That's not actually a good sentence. Gaming is it what? Sorry guys, like I said, I'm tired tonight. It's an interesting thing. I think this topic really blew up into a lot of other topics, you know, and I think it's interesting.
Once you get into the business of
You
it.
guys in the chat, especially on the YouTube video comments, because we miss a lot of these. We try to read them all, but
Yeah.
on the YouTube, well, they're safe. We'll see them all. Bring up, you know, hey, you guys mentioned this. I'd love to hear more. I think,
Yeah, if we want to go deeper, yeah.
yeah, and that's something we'd be interested to hear what you guys have to say. I think we should probably wrap this up, and we're already hitting our hour mark. I like to end under an hour. Guys, good? We'll head to questions.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
So last, we're just, you know, this is a part in the segment where we just sort of open it up. to anyone in the chat, if you want to comment on any of the topics we've already talked about, that's fine. We can go back, just finish it up. You have questions, little small things for us. If you have new topics for us, leave that on the YouTube comments, because we don't want to go into a big topic right now. Let's see what we have on here. Too much studying.
Question, can you... What? Wait, where'd that go?
Oh, we're getting quiet now. I'll read in the chat here.
How would you balance it? How would you balance what?
Yeah, I'm not seeing... Not too many questions here. Okay, if Dice asked your opinion on adding one more class in Battlefield 3, what would it be? How would you balance it? Let's get creative. Zitter Zap, that is a pretty intense question. I don't think that's like... We're looking for quick... We have, 10 minutes. We want to finish.
What have you guys bought from the Steam sale?
The one right below it is almost the same thing.
Hey, interesting though, guys. Bring that up. Leave it in the comments. That's stuff we could talk about. That's a topic in my eyes.
Yeah, that's a
Steam sale. That's something. Have you guys been looking at it?
I'm watching it. I was hoping DayZ would come down, but I haven't pulled the trigger yet. No.
Yeah.
I don't
have time. I really just don't.
That's my thing. It's like I want games. I'm like, man, this is a good price, but it would be a year before I had time to play it. And Steam sales are so good. I mean, if like a good Terraria is on Steam sale every single time.
$3.
Yeah.
It's something. I don't even know if I want to play it, but I'm like, just in the case I want to.
That's what
I
happens.
Just stock it
you look at those and you're like, man, I should get all these games because it is $2 and I'll have fun with. I'll have $2 worth of fun for it.
I'm also a sucker because I'm like, I want to support little developers like that. Like I feel good. I was like, I'll just donate $2. You don't have to give me the money.
Maybe I'll play your next game. I'm not gonna play it.
Because like for me, my biggest games, aside from the big mainstream Dice, but have been like independent games, like Minecraft, those type of games that really kind of catch my eye these days. Because they're willing to try new things.
Yeah.
They're trying different things, and like I said, they're not just a recycled same game over and over and over again. So
there's some games I look at. I want to keep with console. I enjoy PC gaming, and I love Steam. I mean, I love Steam. I think it is amazing. Valve is my favorite company. It really is. Just because they've never done anything yet that I've noticed that made me upset. Their sales are amazing. They're every day, and then they have weekly ones. Whatever. I don't want to get into it, but I enjoy console. I enjoy my friends I have, and a lot of my friends would sort of be like, okay, we could get into PC a little bit, but some wouldn't. And I'm sort of like, I'm not willing to give up on those friends, just because I have them there. So I try to avoid, like Portal 2, I saw what I wanted. I was like, man, I'm gonna get a 2-pack so me and MassNERDerer can play it together because she loves Portal. But she's like, I want to play on an Xbox. It's like, all right, I won't get it. But what?
You should see. I don't know. You should though, because you're limiting yourself. Not you necessarily, but everybody. Because Steam is ridiculous. I mean, you can get games so cheap. And
it's like, so good.
Plus, so like we're talking about the free-to-play kind of things. It's going to be a lot more opportunities on that end.
Yeah. Someone picked up Portal. Yeah, it's going to be cool. Well, that's free-to-play. We'll see what this new console comes out with.
That's definitely a topic we should write down.
That's good. It's interesting. And
I have opinions on that for a different reason, but
it'd be interesting to hear ours. So, I see a at MassNERDerer. Let's just see. The thing that annoys me about Steam and the developers, you don't own the game. You own the rights to play it. Play whilst not on the internet. Well, I mean, they tell you that kind of stuff ahead of time. I can see you being upset, like, oh, I can't play it from on the internet. They tell you. It's like, that stuff might be annoying, but for all the good they do, it's like I can forgive you telling me ahead of time. It's not like they say, thanks for buying a game, sucker, now you have to be on, I don't know. For me, that's not a negative. It stinks, but they do so much good, that's not like it's like, it's not perfect, but you guys aren't dicks because you do that, and...
Yeah, you can, if you have your account, you can still download anything, right?
Yeah, free, and I've had people who lost accounts, and Steam works with you, they'll transfer stuff onto accounts, and I don't know, I think they're pretty good.
Not perfect, but it has its benefits.
Alright, last little question, I think we'll wrap it up here, is... For you guys, I don't have premium, so I can't really comment on it. Time, maybe you have an opinion still, even though you don't have premium either. But do you think the restat perk is worthless, like I do, from Rebel Reviews? Because we brought that up, I felt like, okay, I'll ask that, because we talked about stats, and you guys say you use the reset because it can help you on a specific, like Culper, you said, okay, you've been working on your series, your new series on YouTube, starting new tactics, practicing, So I don't think you guys would think it's pointless, right?
No, it's not pointless, but is it like a reason I would buy premium? No.
Yeah.
But since it's there, I use it. Yeah. I don't understand. I mean, I think it's silly that it's a premium perk. Like, Jesus Christ, like, just put it out there, right? I mean, it's one button. It doesn't even wipe your stats like they said it did. It's just silly. I don't know. Like, I mean, I use it. I enjoy it, but is it a selling point? No.
And my thing would be that you can go onto BF3 stats, and if you pull up your history, if they've had your profile for a while, you can calculate what those things would be for the recent, however.
I mean, that's what I mean. Like, I wouldn't pay for it, but it's not worthless. I mean, if you want to use it, I think that's better because, like we said, aggregate stats are really tough to change. If you can reset them, you can look week by week, and you can say, all right, I'm going to reset it. I'm going to play how I would normally play, like trying, and we'll see how I can do. Then I think
that's what
I wouldn't pay for it, but if you're going to give it to me included in something, yeah, I'll take it.
Like let's say tonight I get off here. I've never played the AN94. Let's see how I do. Boom, reset. Go play 10 matches. My KD's better, worse, whatever. You know, you get that immediate, reply what it is. But
and I can get the same thing. Just I pull out a spreadsheet and pull up, and it takes a little longer, but I mean, I don't care.
Much like the other premium perks are, they're just glitter and gloss.
Yeah, that's all it is. I mean, I bought premium because it was a cheaper way of getting all the DLCs. They're throwing extra crud at me. They didn't have to. They already had my money on letting me buy all the DLCs for cheaper.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. It helped me. It helped convince me a little bit. But ultimately, is any of that stuff they offer you better? No. And I mean, like, there's some things. Whoop-de-doo. Most of the servers I play on, I'm already like either admin or VIP or whatever, which is equivalent to the same thing, so I don't care. It doesn't change anything. And I mean, like, some things I actually think are worse. Like the new knife now, it just looks retarded. I don't know.
I kind of like it because it's different, probably.
It's like I used to use a knife like that at my last job, opening boxes.
That's what everybody calls it, the box cutter. Yeah.
I had a knife just like that, and I opened boxes with it, and now I'm stabbing people in a video game.
God. Scott, don't look at the chat right now. Don't look at Nick's chat.
Oh, what are they? Oh, just about getting Christy a gaming PC is what they're...
Or something else.
Oh, I missed it. I won't look. I won't read.
It's censored. Mubot, damn it.
Mubot. Nice. Thank you, Mubot.
It's just a lot of glitter. Yeah, like Time said, it's just glitter.
It really is. And people fall for it.
Yeah.
So, as a gaming point, DICE probably cringes. They're probably like, what? But EA is like, push it.
Do it now.
I wish we could get them in a private room and ask, say, Gustav Holling or whoever the hell, DICE guy,
just
go in another room and ask an EA guy.
Tell us what you think about EA.
I think they hate EA more than we do. I really do. I mean, they sign their checks, but come on. I mean, you put your life's work into this for how many years? And, I mean, you got to believe they want to support it more.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do, anyway. It's the only redeeming quality they have at this point. But I don't let them off the hook. I still blame them, but I think they hate EA a lot more than any of us do.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I really do.
So
you can't work. Go ahead.
No, go on.
I was just filling air.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think we this is other stuff we could talk about, but we sort of wrapped it up. There hasn't really been any new questions. There's been a lot of puppies' faces. If you guys didn't know in the chat, you can make a puppy face.
I'm awesome.
So there's been. And then a few, talking amongst you guys. And I like you guys in the chat. I enjoy you guys talking to each other. But I think we should wrap it up because there hasn't really been many questions coming. So, any closing comments, guys? You got anything to say?
Good night.
Nah, I'm good, man.
Great. So, like
Thanks
I said,
for coming out, guys.
Guys in the stream, make sure you swing over to YouTube to check it out. Check out all these guys' channels.
You know what? Mention iTunes.
Oh
yeah.
Well, Culver, you please. So Culver's been working hard for us to get this.
Yeah, going crazy. What is the podcast, actually? We've been calling it a podcast for 4 weeks now. It is now officially a podcast. The audio version is up on iTunes. I believe you can just search for Just Nerd Talk. One word, I think. I have to change that, maybe. Just search around. You guys are savvy enough. You'll find it. And it should be there. So the audio version of this, whenever Scott gets it up on YouTube, I will rip it down and get it up on iTunes.
So. That's good news.
We're evolving.
For little plug here. For any of you on the live stream, not on YouTube, sorry. Right after this, me and MassNERDerer will be playing Left 4 Dead 2, and I'll be streaming on this channel, so stay around if you want to see that.
It's Friday the 13th. Scream like a woman.
So I don't scream. I don't get scared.
Oh, please.
I don't. I'm not being like a big macho man. I just don't get startled or scared. It doesn't happen.
Dude, play DayZ. You'll get scared.
Yeah, I believe you. I don't think you get scared.
Oh, I think he does. He has
I
a
mean-
dream catcher over his bed. I mean, come on.
Oh, that's at MassNERDerer's place. Alright. I mean, I got Misty
Uh-huh.
here to protect me here. But anyway, Friday the 13th, she was like, oh, it's Friday. This is like, we should play a zombie
you
and
guys
apocalypse
are
type
too
thing. So I was
much.
like, alright, we'll do some Left 4 Dead too. So that'll be fun. But
Nice.
I mean,
Sounds like a good woman.
look, as far as getting scared, closing just funny little thing. In high school, I actually used to get in a lot of fist fights. I used to box. I went to a boxing rink. We did some matches and stuff. I love fighting. I actually love street fights.
So bizarre.
But I know, I
so
don't
the
mind getting
antithesis
hit.
of
Like
what
I'm
we
okay.
thought.
But the thing is, if you want to, I don't get startled. So I am terrified to get in a fight now, like at a bar though, because I always think they probably got a gun. Like I'm willing to get beat up. Like I'm okay laying on the ground bleeding, but I don't want to get shot. Okay,
You
I
don't
don't want to
die.
get stabbed, and I don't want to get shot. So I've been in a few fights like in college, but I'm terrified. I'm like, man, like those guys. I want to punch him, and I'm okay. Come hit me back. I'm okay, but don't pull out a knife or a gun. So
Wow, how
I
do we
get
get-
scared, but I don't get startled. Like I never jump. It doesn't happen.
Scott, it's okay if you jump at a video game, all right? It's
doesn't
okay.
happen.
You don't have to defend so much. You don't have to be so defensive.
This is like my red hair thing. There's not.
I say there's nothing wrong with getting a little scared. That's just because I literally did not sleep after I played Doom 3, which is not that scary.
See,
Like the night after I first played it, I was like, I can't sleep.
I think it's 'cause I just don't believe in anything. Like I'm like that won't happen. You know, like I don't get. Like I said, I'm scared of things. I was trying to point out I get scared of like some things, like people bringing guns to a fist fight. But like I don't like ghosts. I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe so. Nothing. Horror movies don't scare me. Horror movies that scare me are like ones that were real, like freaking Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and they show but they scare me enough. Like, man, I hope that doesn't happen to me, but I don't like have trouble sleeping. 'Cause I'm like, look at my neighborhood. We don't got freaks running around with wearing faces. Well, maybe who knows? Anyway, all right, we got off topic there.
What a tangent that was. That was great.
Yes.
That's going to be my recap
You get me
video
talking
right
about
there this
myself,
week, right?
and I'm
That's
just gonna
4
go
minutes.
all day. I love talking about
We went from
myself.
dream catcher to punching people in the face and getting shot at a bar.
Hell yeah.
And zombies. Don't forget about zombies.
It happens,
Right.
guys.
With your
This is
girlfriend.
real
With your
life.
girlfriend.
This is real life. Okay. All
Really
right.
MTV now?
All right. Thank you all for showing up, guys. Thank you for attending again. It was great. Remember, if you watch on YouTube, click on their faces, go swing by their channels. Not only will they maybe mention some stuff from the podcast, but also they make a lot of great videos. And now that I'm posting like Pokemon and Minecraft, you probably don't want to stay around here too much. All right.
I tried to watch it one day.
Hey, no pressure.
feel
There'll
older.
still be some Battlefield coming up, but I'm expanding. So if I lose people, I
Expanding
lose
to
people.
Pokemon.
Hey.
Talk about culture clash. I mean, you go from your Battlefield 3 subs to Pokemon.
Look, it's funny. Okay, last tangent. I want to go. Like I said, I was tired. I
Oh,
tried
you
to
can
make
go
this
post
podcast
speed.
shorter.
Flip it out and
This
do
as
the
long
outro.
as we want, guys.
Oh, I could. We'll keep it in instead of the
The
end.
after show. The after
We should
show.
do an
It's
after
casual.
show.
It's casual.
Okay, we'll cancel and we'll come back live with an after show.
Yeah, whatever.